Hello and welcome to a Talmud Israeli production. Today we will review the highlights of this week's course of Daf Yomi study, Masechet Shabbat, pages 100 through 106, Dapim Kuf through Kuf Vav. 100. Tel hamitlaket asara mitoch arba, v'zrak v'nach al gabav chayav. This is a story of a person who throws an article from the public domain onto a hill that is in the public domain, and yet will be regarded as its own private area, resulting in liability for a korban chatat for the thrower, on account of the steep incline of the hill. How steep an incline must it be? Well, it must be that the hypotenuse of the triangle that is created, in a span of less than 4 amot, rises to an altitude of at least 10 tfachim. Why should this be the case, that this is regarded as a reshut yachid? The answer is because of lo nicha tashmishte. It is inconvenient to use this area because of such a steep incline. People will be disinclined, no pun intended, to climb up that hill. Kuf Aleph, 101. The Torah tells us, in the section of the Efer Para Aduma, the ashes of the red heifer, the notion of bachalal cherev, the sword of the deceased, in the sense that just as a corpse can convey very high levels of tumah, so too a metal object which was used to slay the person, so the sword that killed the individual, will transmit tumah at the very same high level as the dead body itself. 102. Kufbet. Zarak v'nach b'fi ha'kelev b'fi ha'kivshan chayav. If a person throws an item in the public domain 4 cubits, or for that matter, from a private area to a public area, and it lands in the mouth of a dog, or it lands in an oven, a furnace, nonetheless the person is liable for a korban chatat. Why should this be true? Well, arguably, the person should be exempt because the item in question either never landed completely or was destroyed upon impact. And yet we nonetheless say chayav because upon landing in the mouth of the dog or in the kivshan, it has come to rest before it has been destroyed, before it ceases to exist. Another point on this daf is a concept of ein aniyut makom ashirut. There is no paucity or poverty in a place of opulence. That when it came to the tabernacle, the Mishkan, even though certain things could have been done in a more budgetary manner, they were nonetheless done in an opulent manner to indicate the ashirut, the great wealth of God's house of worship. Kuf Gimel, 103. Rabbi Yehuda ben Betera Omer, Ne'emar b'ashini v'niskehem, b'shishi u'nisacheh, b'shvi kemishpatam, harei mem yud mem, mikan remez l'nisuch hamayim min haTorah. There is a concept of the water libation. The water libation is a ritual performed in the temple on Sukkot, where water is poured down the nostrils of the outer altar. It is the only time a year when water is poured as a libation. The rest of the year only wine is offered as a libation. Where is there a reference in the text of the Torah itself to this water libation of Sukkot? Well, there is no direct reference. You will not find it in the Chumash. However, Rabbi Yehuda ben Betera found that in the discussion of the Musaf sacrifices of the various days of Sukkot, there are 3 seemingly superfluous letters, and those are Mem, Yud, and Mem, which if you put them together create the word Mayim, water, and this was regarded as a hint, an allusion to Nisuch HaMayim, the water libation, in the text of the Torah itself. Kuf Daled, 104. Menatzfach, the final letters, the Sofit letters of the Hebrew letters Mem, Nun, Tzadi, Pei, and Chaf. Who came up with these orthographic symbols? The Gemara says, Sofim Amarum, the scouts or the seers or the prophets. The prophets were the ones who came up with these final letters of the Hebrew alphabet. The Gemara is incredulous. How could that be that a later hand, a prophet, subsequent to Moses' revelation in Sinai, could change the orthography of the Torah? V'hakativ, it says, Elah HaMitzvot, that from the basis of the verse, Elah HaMitzvot, these are the commandments, and only these are the commandments, we have a concept that a later prophet is forbidden to enact innovations in religion. How could it be that the later prophets enacted the innovation of the Sofit letters of the Hebrew alphabet? To this, the Gemara concludes, Ela shechachum v'chazru v'yistum. These letters had been forgotten, and the Sofim, the prophets, remembered them and restored them to their former glory. So there is no chidush, there is no novelty here. There is rather the restoration of what had always been. Kufhei, 105. Notary cone, acronym. But where do we find a reference to acronym in the Torah? So here we quote the pasuk Manadaber Manitzdadak. The brothers of Yosef, upon having been caught with the viceroy's goblet upon their departure from Egypt, they said, "What can we say? Manadaber Manitzdadak. How can we justify ourselves?" The plain meaning is that they acknowledge their guilt, and there is nothing they can say to prove their innocence. However, the homiletic interpretation of nitzdadak is that it is an acronym. Nechonim anachnu, we are correct. Tzadikim anachnu, we are righteous. Torim anachnu, we are pure. Dakim anachnu, we are clean. Kedoshim anachnu, we are holy. So the letters of nitzdadak identify several different words proving, or rather asserting, the innocence and cleanliness of the brothers of Yosef. Kufav, 106. Kolamekalkalin piturin. All those who do a malacha, but the malacha is destructive in character, they are exempt from any korban chatat, from any liability, biblical Sabbath liability. Chutz, however, there are two exceptions. Michovel, person who injures someone else, who causes a wound, blood to be extracted. Umavir, and who burns something. To this, we can say, well, Chovel and Mavir are inherently destructive in every situation, and if a Mekalkel was exempt, then when could you ever find the scenario of liability? So it must be true that the Mekalkel is liable in those cases. To which the Gemara responds, not so fast. I can find specific examples where Chovel and Mavir are actually constructive, whereas ordinarily they might be destructive and thus exempt. What are the constructive cases? Chovel, causing a wound, b'tzrich lekalbo, where you need the blood that is extracted from the injured entity, so you can give that blood to your dog. And mavir, burning something, b'tzrich leafro, when you need the ashes that are thereby created. So those particular instances are examples not of mikalkel, but of something constructive and productive. And only in those cases would chovel and mavir be resulting in liability.